Friday night Big 12 game, late night one. And this
Friday nights have been treating us good, haven't they?
They have been. And Dalton, this one was maybe, I will say, it's the best game of the whole weekend. This game was unbelievable, which is why we're talking about it right now. And that is number 13 BYU beating Oklahoma State 38-35. Our guy, Jake Retzlaff, with a heroic final drive, throwing a touchdown with like 10 seconds left to pull out the victory. Let's go over the highest grade players, starting off with the BYU Cougars. Darius Lassiter Jake Retzlaff was the highest grade player. We'll talk about him in a little bit, 84.1. But Darius Lassiter after him, his top receiver at 81.6. Manaava Tayase at a 77.1, the tight end. LJ Martin, 76.9. Braden Keim, the offensive tackle, 74.1. And the center, Bruce Mitchell, at a 73.1. Let's go over to the Oklahoma State side of it with their highest grade players. How about Ollie Gordon? Finally, Ollie Gordon is back, at least for this game. 82.4 grade in this loss to BYU. Kobe Hilton, 79.4 grade. Deshaun Brown, 73.9. The edge defender. Corey Black, the corner, 72 grade. Another corner, Cale Smith, 69.4. And then Alan Bowman had a 71.3 grade. Before we get to the most impressive and to tell the story, Dawn, shout out Ollie Gordon, finally looking like his 2023 self a little bit. He had a couple amazing runs in that first half against BYU. It looked like if Oklahoma State is going to ride Ollie Gordon to victory like they did all of last year. But for a guy that I would say has been, I will say, he's been the most disappointing player in college football, this is a really nice bounce back game for him, and hopefully it's a sign of what's to come for him in his junior year.
And honestly, against a really good run defense.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a really good defense. He did this again, and I'm going to kind of roll this into Oklahoma State. Look, they got Ollie Gordon looking like Ollie Gordon. They had issues at quarterback with Garrett Rangel getting hurt, and then Alan Bowman coming in, and there's a ceiling on Alan Bowman. But Oklahoma State's offense did enough to win in this game, and it's because Ollie Gordon had such a big day against a really good defense. Oklahoma State's defense, though, it's been a problem all season. It's just continued. 57.2 defensive grade as a team in this game. Look, right now for the season, they're 122nd in defense grade in the FBS. Since week 5, so they've played 3 games since week 5, they have a 46.7 defensive grade. That is the worst in the country. And they did not get a single stop in the second half. BYU scored on every drive in the second half. After Oklahoma State had forced 3 turnovers in the first half, and they were really, honestly, they were dominating this game in the first half. And they just, too many stretches this year now. We've talked about their offense a lot and Ollie Gordon and the struggles, but there's too many stretches this year now, especially the stretch they're in right now where they can't make a stop. It's been a problem all season. Oklahoma State, just not the contender that we maybe thought that they could be coming into the season after being the Big 12 runner-up last year. It's really just on both sides of the ball at certain times this year gone wrong for them. And in this game, they had a lead with a minute. Retzlaff had a minute or so to work with, 50 seconds or a minute to work with on that last drive, and they allowed it to happen. So this game, their offense was good enough to win. Their defense was not. We've seen the vice versa in other games. It's just that kind of season for Oklahoma State.
It really has been, and really it goes into it. In the first half, from my stat to tell the story, BYU 69.7 offensive grade. In the second half, 89.1. 20-point difference between the two halves. 0.043 EPA per play for BYU in the first half. 0.473 EPA per play in the second half for BYU. And really the difference ultimately was Jake Retzlaff, honestly. 64.5 passing grade in the first half, 90.7 passing grade in the second half. He stepped up when it mattered most on, and the Cougars woke up in the second half because of it. You see right there, Jake Retzlaff offseason motivation graphic that ESPN loves to show. They actually showed it again during the Oklahoma State game. And then, unfortunately for Jake, right after that, the good old announcer's jinx, the second after that, he threw an interception. Right after.
I've never stepped foot in the state of Utah. Am I going to be allowed to?
I don't know if you will.
I don't think I'll be allowed. Maybe I will.
We got to get Jake on the show.
Maybe I'm just a good motivator. Oh, absolutely.
We have to get Jake on the show.
I need to look into the numbers, but I knowing his, loosely what his grading was last year and then this year, he might be, by the numbers, the most improved quarterback, maybe even the most improved offensive player in the country.
I would probably say so.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And even, and I'll just jump in as most impressive, because the traditional stats, 13 to 26 for 218, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, are not really going to tell you He battled in this game.
Yeah,
he did.
battled.
BYU was definitively losing this game in the first half. He threw a couple of interceptions. The first one probably more questionable than the second. The second one kind of in a Hail Mary-ish situation, but also 9 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown and forced 8 missed tackles. 8 as a quarterback, and that's on top of the next guy that you're talking about with BYU getting this run game going. But no, if you're going to have a championship type of run, a conference title, or even further than that, there are going to be 2 or 3 quarterbacks where your quarterback just has to battle and get through. We talk about Cam Ward apparently has to do it every week, but yeah. Jake Retzlaff at the end of this got him through it. It was one drive with roughly a minute to go. There was the touchdown to Lassiter that won the game. The scramble right before that was just terrific. I mean, He really. I need to look at the numbers this week to see if it holds up. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna look at it and say he's the most improved. He's the single most improved quarterback in the country, if not the most improved offensive player in the country. The turnaround for this, and now that they're getting the run. Thank you for showing that again. I really appreciate showing that as much as possible. No, I mean, but I'll be honest with you too. With the run game getting the way it's going and Retzlaff playing like this, especially in a huge moment. I don't care if it was Oklahoma State or what the record was. They were down a score with a minute to go, and he had to bring them 80 yards down the field.
Yeah.
And he got it done.
Yeah.
And they keep getting it done. I'll be honest with you. I know Iowa State's undefeated too, and for some reason the AP has them higher than BYU in their poll. I think BYU right this minute's the best team in the conference.
Oh, yeah.
They're so well-rounded, and they're getting more well-rounded with what you're about to talk about. But Retzlaff, I talk about Rocco Beck gutting it out. Retzlaff did the same thing in this game, and those two teams, they're just having incredible seasons. And again, he might be, if there was an award, I don't know if there's not.
We should make a most improved player.
We could do a most improved player.
Like just by grades perspective, just like who has the biggest grade. That'd be a great.
You know what we got to do? We got to name it after him.
Who?
Retzlaff. It'll be the inaugural Jake Retzlaff most improved award.
Hopefully he'll get back in his good graces if we name an award after him, honestly.
That's quite a time.
That'd be actually a really cool award. We should do that. We're doing our midseason awards episode.
College football has enough awards, so let's just add it.
No, we'll add more. We're making a long snapper award, by the way, too. We got to do that.
Oh, yeah.
We should do that.
Oh, what do we name that?
We'll figure out a guy to name after. Who was the first long snapper we ever shouted out on the show? We probably should name after him.
It wasn't the guy from Pitt, right?
Yeah, we'll find him. We'll find him. We'll find him. We'll figure it out. We're getting off topic here, but yeah, man, Jake was. And listen, we as PFF College Football Show, we should have learned by now to stop doubting this kid. I will admit, Dalton, when Oklahoma State took that lead and there's like 50 seconds left and BYU's in their own 20, I was like, this game's over. Jake's not doing this. He's not going to do this. And he did it. So Jake Retzlaff, shout out to him, and he was unreal. We got to get him on the show. Once again, just the biggest hater of the PFF College Football Show, and he continues to be proven right every single time, honestly.
Hey. Love him. Something to be said for motivation.
That's awesome. I love it. LJ Martin, my most impressive part in this one, his backfield mate in BYU. 20 carries for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. That tied a career high for him in rushing touchdowns. 61 yards after contact. 10 broken tackles for the true sophomore. That's a career high for LJ Martin. And Dalton's actually the first time in his career that he hit 100 rushing yards in a game as well. So great job by LJ Martin in this one. They have a legit run game to go along with Retzlaff's arm now. And you got a legit quarterback, a good receiving core. Now you got a legit run game, which was a problem for BYU earlier this year. Yes, I understand they had a lot of injuries in that running back unit earlier this year, but now they got their guys healthy again. So now you got a legit run game. And with that offensive line kicking ass the way they have been this year, this offense is dangerous now. There's not a clear weakness on this offense.
And for the last couple weeks, they haven't had their starting center, Connor Pay, who is one of the best.
And their backup was one of their highest grade players this week.
Yeah. I just want to throw out the balance, and I don't have the full how many teams are like this, but BYU offensive grade right now they're 24th. Okay. Defensive grade I think might have gone down a little bit after this week, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to find them here. This week was a struggle a bit, but their offensive grade they were 24th. Defensive grade 55th, but they're some coverage issues here and there, but still not bad. And I think it went down in this game because they did struggle in this game. And even the third phase, there was their special teams grade. It was somewhere in the top 30. It's 32nd.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just so solid at everything. I think that really gets it out. Again, their defensive grade a little down from last week because they did struggle in this game, especially tackling Ollie Gordon and all of that. But they're just balanced. They're the most balanced team in the Big 12 by far.
Yeah.
They just have They got a little bit of everything, and they're making it work. I really think right this minute, I think they're the best team in the Big 12.
And listen, before we move on to our standouts, I swear, Dalton, if this team is not in the top 10 after this, I don't know what we're talking about at this point. I don't know. Their resume, they destroyed Kansas State by 29 points, who Kansas State is still a top 20 team in college football. They beat SMU on the road. SMU is still in the top 25 of college football. They're undefeated. They're 7-0 as well. It's not like they have a loss yet as well. I don't know what we're talking about here. I don't know what we're talking about with their resume. I think we're so hung up on, we thought this team was going to be 4-8. We thought this team was going to be 5-7. Oh, the eye test. Oh, they barely beat Oklahoma. I don't give a damn. I don't care.
How are they not passing?
I don't give a damn.
Are they not passing? If they're not passing your eye test, you're just not watching.
They killed Kansas State. What eye test are you talking about? They killed Kansas State.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about here with BYU. This is absolutely should be in the top 10. I don't care if you think they're a top 10 team in the country at some point in the year, and I think we're hitting that point. And you're seeing our PFF top 25.
You have to earn it.
You rank resumes. You don't rank how good you think the team is. No, you rank resumes, and that's what you have to be doing. BYU, absolutely. I tweet this out. I think BYU, resume-wise, has a better case to be in the top 5 than they do to be outside of the top 10, honestly.
Yeah,
so if they are not in the top 10, the 8 people, all the Associated Press voters right now, if you do not put the BYU Cougars in top 10, we will be rioting on behalf of Jake Retzlaff. So, BYU, I just want to put that out there because it makes me so mad all the time. I saw people saying, they should move down after this Oklahoma State game. Why? No. They won.
Yeah.
They're 7-0.
There's plenty of teams that play close games and don't pull them out.
Yeah, Miami's been playing it for 4 weeks, for a month now. Miami's been doing this. We're not punishing them for it. So why I think we're so hung up on what we thought preseason. I threw all my preseason stuff out. I don't care about preseason anymore. So BYU should be in the top 10. That's just my little spiel right there. All right, go to our 3 standouts. One more time on the screen, Eli.
There it is. We got to close out with it. Yeah.
That's the new logo of the show. That's honestly the new logo of the show.